Sorry.
100% a red, but Konate should have been off too. That's from 20. Sorry, Stro, you're going to say something, brother.
Yeah, I need to speak about this referee, man.
Go on, go for it, bruv.
I need to speak about this. So, last time I was on, I got abuse because I was one that sat there and said that as football fans and a collective, we have to come together, right? Everyone's energy is in the wrong areas because all you're seeing in the chat and all you're seeing online is, oh, wonder what Liverpool fans' reactions are going to be to this. Wonder what Liverpool fans' reactions are going to be to this. How the Liverpool fans going to handle this because of the Tottenham saga and blah, 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 blah. Not at the actual referee or the awful decisions that have been made in the game, which has stole the headlines from the entire derby. Because yes, it wasn't a great derby. Reality of the situation is the referee is the man of the moment because of the awful decision making and the awful state of affairs, which is PGMOL and the state of the referees in this country. And I said this time and time again. The last time I was on, there's a reason why none of our referees get picked for big tournaments. There was an absolute reason. There's a reason why, from grassroots all the way up, the standard of refereeing is shocking. And you said it right at the beginning of the show. When you hear Howard Webb's comments, he's not going by the letter of the law. I'm not surprised there's inconsistencies because he's clearly teaching the referees inconsistencies from that statement alone. You have to go by the letter of the law. Otherwise, you're going to have inconsistent moments and it's going to ruin the integrity of football. And when you look at that decision today, Ashley Young should have gone before he even got his yellow card because he booted the ball into the stands. So you can't be preaching about how you're going to clamp down on stuff. And you've actually sent some people off for doing that before in previous games. So there's a lack of consistency there. Ashley Young's a definite yellow and it's a definite sending off. Konate is the luckiest boy I've seen in a while because it's so blatant, it's untrue. And everyone's trying to say that Ashley Young's first one wasn't cynical. It's cynical, hence why it's a yellow. Same energy needs to be applied because Konate's was so cynical because personally, Van Dijk covers and gets there anyway, so he's not really going through. But it's not the point. The foul is a foul and it's a yellow card. But once again, and I seen it in the group chat about, I think it was Paulson, about how he was pausing and he was delaying with some of his decisions. I didn't have a problem with that until the Konate decision because when he was pausing, I thought, right, he's giving him time to make a decision there. And then sometimes he was actually making the right decision. He paused and I thought, Konate's definitely gone. And then it just continues and I'm thinking, what are you doing? But this is what frustrates me the most is, why have we got VAR if they can't intervene on yellow cards? The
Second yellow cards.
Making awful mistakes. Awful mistakes.
But do you think, Stro, do you think that's because the refs now are shook? So they're so scared of making a mistake now that now anything that they're seeing, they're even questioning whether it's reality. So he sees us a handball. 5-10 years ago, you'd have just ref would have blown the whistle and just been confident in his decision. I've got to be assertive with any decision that I make. I blow the whistle. It's a handball. It's not a handball. It's ball to hand or whatever. Right now, he sees that. No, I'm not going to give it because he knows he's got VAR that are going to back him up and they can bail him out if he's made a mistake. But he never had that.
Agree, but this comes back to Tom's comment and about the state of the mentality of the referees. Because you are employed to do a job. Your job is to employ the letter of the law, right? The letter of the law, that is a cynical yellow card. He's not give it. And it's down to the mentality because, like you've said, and you've seen it so many times since VAR has been implemented, and you've even heard it with referees that have retired and are talking about they didn't want to drop the mate in it and they didn't want to make him look foolish. They didn't want to do this. They didn't want to do that. And it's awful at the minute. It's so bad. Yeah. Every game's been ruined.
Mate, do you know what? I understand. Do you know what they've done wrong with VAR is when it first came in, I loved it. But most of the officials and ex-officials were saying, oh, it shouldn't be re-refereeing games and it shouldn't be, we don't want the referee on the pitch not to be in control. And I sat there and thought, I feel like the mistakes it was making in its early days were actually right. They were re-refereeing the game. Because that's what we want. We want the right decisions. And yes, you don't want it to take 15 minutes. If it takes 15 minutes to review a clip, and I'm being a little bit excessive when I say that, then it can't be. That by definition means it's not a clear and obvious mistake. But so many times we can watch a replay, and even just at home on our screens, you see one replay and you go, pen. We just know. Or, that's definitely a second yellow. It takes seconds. I don't understand. What they should really try and do, they should do this as an experiment and don't use the decisions. but you can film it and then review it and then let the audience see. Get a handful of fans in there, like smart people, not idiots, and let them do it and see how quickly fans can go boom, 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 and say what the decisions they would give and how quickly they did it. I guarantee you we can make those decisions quicker. Because I feel like we watch more football than these refs, genuinely. I feel like, because we all remember all the bad decisions, all the ones that have been given. It's just the lack of speed and the protection now they're giving the guy on the field of play is crazy to me. And on the second yellow for Konate, look, the reason this is how you know, and I must have tweeted about this 100 times in the last year. You always know when a player's got away with it because he's subbed off almost instantly. You just know, we better get him off well quick because we've got away with it and if he even breathes out a line, he's going off now. That should be the telltale marker. And yeah, that's where they will feel hard done by. And as I said, I don't think it's on Liverpool. It's not Liverpool's fault. I stood up for Liverpool when they got robbed by the referees against I can't remember what they're called, Spurs. I stood up for Arsenal when they were robbed by the referees against City and they won the game, God damn it. And that's the biggest thing. It's why I pulled up what you said earlier, Tom. I think it matters even when the result goes your way. I think it matters even when the bad decisions don't ruin the game. So if Man United win 5-0 later, but 2 blatant red card decisions are not given, it should be on Good Morning Britain because that's the only way you're going to improve the integrity of the game. But generally speaking, people will only moan if their team gets hurt or a rival of theirs benefits. And that's typically the way. Yeah.
The reason why the Liverpool one got so much media coverage is because Liverpool were brave and Liverpool put out a very aggressive statement. Now it's down to Everton to go and put out an aggressive statement and get the traction that decision deserves. That's the only reason why Liverpool got the reaction that it did and it was talked about so much is because everyone was like, wow, Liverpool have actually put the foot down here and they're not happy. Everton needs to do the same. If it happens to United need to do the same. If it happens to Arsenal should have done the same. The Kovacic decision, yes, they won the game, but it's not the point. These decisions, it doesn't, like Tom said, it doesn't matter if you win the game or not. These decisions are not acceptable in the best league in the world. How do we not have the best referees in the world? It's an absolute embarrassment.
I do believe it's... Go on, Tom.
The logic they go for in terms of, we don't want to, make our refs feel worse or anything. I don't know about you lot on the panel, but whenever I've seen a referee give a penalty and then VAR's overturned it, I've never went, that ref's an idiot. I go, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't question the ref for making the wrong decision if it gets overturned. I question it when both parties get it wrong.
This is because, Tom, they are tone deaf. Because most of us we don't even care really if it takes 5 minutes and the right decision is made because we say, and the right decision or a consistent decision is made because we know it's fair. Nobody says, we all understand that the referees are not seeing it from a television view. They haven't got replays and close-ups and slow-mo. They literally see it at real time. And when you all played football or watch football at stadiums, it's hard to see everything. We all understand that. The fact that the referees don't get that, the fact that the Premier League and Sky Sports and all these, they seem to ignore that. Well, no one's blaming the refs. What we blame them for now is even worse than back in the day when they missed something, is you have the technology now to miss nothing and or to be consistent, and you're just as bad. It's absolutely horrendous.
The handball today was given by VAR. I was in the pub watching it. No one sat around me went, that ref's an idiot for not giving that after it was given. We all just went, good, we've got the correct decision. Because there's an element of understanding that, yes, referees are going to get decisions wrong, but we thought that was going to be, eliminated from the game the moment VAR's come in. But VAR can only act on certain things. VAR is so limited and exposed. VAR is broken in its base capacity. It is broken in the form it's in because you're not attacking what it's there for. VAR is there to correct incorrect decisions. The idea of clear and obvious, there's no definition for what clear and obvious is. In the funniest way possible, there is no clear and obvious definition for what a clear and obvious error is. So how are we supposed to know what clear and obvious is?
And you know what? Even I said this for a while. I've been watching some of the Rugby World Cup, not as much as I wanted to, but you hear what's being said. I don't watch a lot of NFL, but whenever I do watch it, things are described. The Women's World Cup, they didn't go into too much detail, but they spoke out and told the crowd why. If, for instance, Paulson today says foul given, no yellow, for what, I don't care what the reason is. I'm going to make one up here. I don't know the protocols. I'm not a referee. I don't know how they would say it, but no second yellow on final warning. I don't know. At least you'd understand it. They probably can't say that because that would trigger the manager to make a decision, but they should explain what and why they're doing it. And they're doing it to each other. You see them talking. Just let us hear it. And I was told this when I worked in sales. You know, like we've all worked in offices or in sales places, and you've got all the different things that are up like out the back that are like pushing sales and whatever, or they're whatever. So a managing director once said, if you're too embarrassed to show that to customers, then your processes are unethical. So if the referees are too worried about us listening to what they're saying, that tells me something untoward's going on. You should be absolutely happy with us hearing what you're talking about. You know, the same in any line of authority. If the police are like, we don't need to hear what we say in our police cars, well, there's a problem there. Do you know what I'm saying? We should be able to know what teachers are saying in staff rooms. We should, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that you should have a relative access to. Does that make sense? Like, if they're talking about your children, there should be access to that information because these things are all important. And it's the same for referees. For them to be like, no, we've got to keep this to ourselves. That's why nobody trusts them. It's crazy.
That's all we've ever wanted is just transparency. And this is why Liverpool with the statement and he demanded that we heard the audios, because from our point of view, we wanted to know. We knew it was a blatant wrong decision, but we wanted to know how it got to that and how we've got to the goal being disallowed. And then when you heard the audio, it was an absolute shambles and it was a mess. If I'm Everton, I'm going, I want to hear why that Konate one wasn't given. I want to hear what was said to Paulson, and I want to hear his reason for why he didn't, and he deemed that to not be a yellow card. But this is the point, and I'm going to go back to it, is everyone's energy is in the wrong places. Everyone's energy is, all right, okay, how are the fans going to react to this? No. It should be, how are we going to try and stop this from happening again? Because I said this weeks and weeks ago. It's going to impact games. It's ruining the integrity of football. But everyone's so concerned about how they look on social media, and everyone's so concerned about what other rival fans are doing, and we're not getting to the root of the problem, which is the fucking decision making. It's absolutely abysmal, and it's never going to change until we as fans do something about it.
But that's the root of the problem. I believe that's the root of the problem is the fans.
I agree.
We've got this crabs in a bucket mentality. Where you want to pull each other down because it's just because it's happened to you. We all need to just deal with it, and this is what I was saying from times like I was looking at so when Arsenal played Man City and Kovacic should have been sent off. I was looking for the Man City fans to come up and admit that he should have been sent off, but none. I saw none, and this is where it gets annoying to me is because it's a like. The whole conversation about these referee decisions is a point scoring conversation. Oh, you're triggered. Oh, you cry more. This, that. But on the other hand, it's if Liverpool benefit from a decision, it's Liverpool this, that. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a thing where it's just point scoring, and fans need to get out of this from time.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it if all an individual does is point score. But I've jokingly called a few people out today that were like, when it was Liverpool, like, guys have all got to get together as fans. And today they're like, if you didn't back us, I'm not backing you. And I just sit there and think, well, that's the problem. You've either got to be fully committed to fixing it or just stay in the world of banter. But you can't pick and choose depending on what team it happens.
Terry, this is what I'm saying. It's because they're going into the world of mixing. So now they're bantering, but now trying to be real when they need to be real. And it's kind of like, where do you start? And this is what Tom was saying earlier. It's kind of like, what is it now? What is it? And then I do admit that Terry, you asked him, what do you think now? But it's kind of like, where do we stand in this? And again, it's the crabs in a bucket situation. They just want to pull each other down, where really and truly, it should be for all fans to say, this has been crap refereeing, sort it out and do better.
Do you know what I will say, though? I don't agree with the blame on the fans side of things, because we are tribalistic in nature. That's why we are fans. My questions are always going to go to the people paid over £100,000 a year to referee these games and referee them poorly.
I
you are given the technology, you are given all the tools there to help you on your
so
job.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But the problem is this: the reason that you guys got your decision onto Good Morning Britain is because of the size and the power of your fan base. The reason that Everton's will not be discussed is because it's tiny in comparison. If, for instance, today Liverpool and Everton fans kind of joined forces and tweeted and posted, both clubs posted statements, and both sets of fans pushed out about these decisions, it would get the traction that we all want. But we know, because we're tribalistic, I don't want to do something that might help a rival. That's what it comes down to. That's all it is. I don't want to do something that might help a rival. And I feel it when I sit here on shows and I defend rivals. There's a part of me that goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" Genuinely, but it's my job. But there's a part of me that it hurts. Guys, because of the interest of time, I've got to go to some of these super chats here. Sorry, boys.